Hi, friends. I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are an excellent little podcast.
Presenting you a little movie podcast starring Zach and Mitch.
Wait, we're doing a podcast?
You are a sad, strange little man.
Oh, goodness.
And I have to say, Zach, but don't worry. We are making a podcast, but this time we're going to be sitting around a campfire making delicious hot schmoes.
Huh? What'd you say? Schmoes?
Schmoes.
You mean s'mores?
Oh, right, of course. You didn't get
No, I got the reference. I got it. All right.
I've been wanting to do that ever since we saw the movie. We just got out of it. If you haven't guessed it, we saw Lightyear.
We saw Lightyear, yeah. And since this is a film that came out underneath the Disney umbrella, we do have to mention that we are Disney cast members, and what we say and do does not represent the brand or the company.
No.
All legal stuff now taken care of.
Yep. So Lightyear, directed by Angus MacLane, the co-director of Finding Dory. I didn't know that this was his solo film debut.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Screenplay also by Angus MacLane, Matthew Aldrich, and Jason Headley. Characters by John Lasseter, Pete Docter, Andrew Stanton, and Joe Raft.
Yep. And then for our summary, while spending years attempting to return home, Maroon Space Ranger Buzz Lightyear encounters an army of ruthless robots commanded by Zurg, who are attempting to steal his fuel source.
What a wonderful, wonderful summary, Zach.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, IMDb. It's a very, very interesting plot and not something that we've kind of seen in a little bit. So it's really, really kind of an interesting and new story, which I always feel like Pixar does a good job of finding new ways to tell newer stories. So really great way. Another thing that I guess we'll go ahead and just kind of put out right here, but we'll go into a little bit more detail later. So there's a lot of confusion exactly what is this movie? Is this Buzz Lightyear from Andy taking on a new adventure? Not entirely. Tim Allen has not returned to voice this specific role because this Buzz Lightyear is a different Buzz Lightyear.
This Buzz Lightyear is the movie version.
Yes, this is the movie, the toy that we see in Toy Story is based off of.
Yes, but we will talk about more in detail later on.
Yes. So we'll go ahead and, as we always do with our reviews, we're going to split this up into 3 sections. The non-spoiler section, where we'll talk about our first thoughts, cast, and additional things that are non-spoilery. Then we'll move on to our review, which is our idea of what we thought of the movie, whether we ate it up, whether we thought it needed to cook a little more, or we will feed it to my dog Jazz. And then finally, we'll go ahead and move into our spoiler section.
Which Zach will kindly sound the alarm for.
Absolutely, and I'll keep it down pat until we get to that time.
Thank you.
So, Mitch, this was actually your number 2 most anticipated film of 2022.
Was it really?
It was.
How do you know that?
Oh, gosh. Because I was there when you announced it on our podcast.
Oh, that's
on our
right.
very first episode. But
wow, that was 6 months ago.
6 months ago and 20 episodes ago.
Wait. Is this our 20th episode?
This is our 20th episode.
Well, happy 20th episode anniversary.
Happy 20th episode anniversary.
Well, I'll be.
All right, my friend. So, it's your number 2. What did you think coming out of Lightyear?
Well, I enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
I didn't really know what to expect.
Sure.
Because the trailers, they pictured it as your prototypical Buzz Lightyear film. Mm-hmm. But after coming out of it, I didn't really see this as a Buzz Lightyear film.
Interesting. Okay.
But that's okay.
Okay.
And the reason why I think isn't your prototypical Buzz Lightyear film is obviously this isn't the toy Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
This is something that we did not expect. I don't know if a lot of people wanted this movie.
Okay.
I hope people go see it. Please go see it. Please, please, please. But on the whole, I enjoyed it. Will this make my top 10 at the end of the year? Probably not.
Okay.
But not because of, it was a bad movie. It was,
sure.
It still was a good movie.
Yeah.
There were just some things that we'll discuss later.
Yeah.
It's just, I just didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And what I got was completely
off the radar of what you were expecting.
And,
sure.
And I got to give a lot of credit to Pixar. You know, they took a character like Buzz Lightyear. Mm-hmm. They've had him for 4 films.
Yep.
And they literally do a complete 360 on this character. And completely write his character from the ground up, as almost as if they were not rewriting him, but creating him again.
Yeah.
And you got to give a lot of credit to the screenwriters and Angus MacLane and also Chris Evans.
Yeah.
For really, really proving that, you know what, even though we're not making the toy, we can still make a decent Buzz Lightyear movie.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Would I see a trilogy of this? For sure.
Okay.
Would I see a TV show based on this? For sure. However, there were still some kinks that I really, really wanted. I really think they should have taken a little bit more time.
Sure.
The pacing was a little off.
Okay.
At times.
Yeah.
The comedy was chef's kiss. Especially a character we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, one of the funniest Pixar films I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And also, one of the most action-packed films
for
that
sure.
Pixar has made. So, again, you got to give credit where credit is due. Angus MacLane, well done, my man. There just was a few things, there was a few plot holes that I kind of picked up on, and we'll pick up on that later.
Sure.
Just, overall, I would give it a good film.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But Zach, this was not on your top 10.
Yes, this was not on my top 10, which I'm actually kind of shocked that it wasn't.
Now, in your thoughts, which is your turn, would you mind explaining to the audience why it was in your top 10?
Sure. So, I'm not going to lie. One of the best things that has just kind of lined up with my life is usually around my birthday has always been a Disney or Pixar film, which has always been a really nice kind of birthday gift to me, because I always enjoy seeing like what the Disney or Pixar film is coming out at my birthday. And this time it was Lightyear, and like I've said in the past, Toy Story has been a huge part of my upbringing. I've loved it, but for some reason this film just was feeling a little different. So while I was anticipating it and looking forward to it, it just barely missed my top 10. So going into Lightyear, I really didn't know what to expect. I knew that this wasn't going to be exactly the Buzz Lightyear that I grew up with, that this was going to be the Buzz Lightyear that Andy grew up with. So, it was going to be something different. It was going to be something new. So I was looking forward to that aspect, and Pixar did deliver on that aspect. It was something new and it was something different. But at the same time, I'm not going to say it was bad and it wasn't, or mediocre. It was good. Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But kind of like you, there's just something kind of off, and I can't entirely place it in this area specifically right now, since it is only my first thoughts. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. The comedy, like you said, was really, really great. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good ride. It was a fun ride.
Yes,
that's how I want to say it. It was a fun ride.
So I also grew up on the Toy Story films. I cry every time I watch all 4 of them, because all 4 of them are just phenomenal films.
4 is a bit underrated, not to the point where I still feel that it should have stayed a trilogy. Yes. But 4 is a nice addition.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people will say that, a lot of people say there shouldn't have been 2, 3, or 4. They should have just ended at 1. And some people say they should have ended it at 2. And obviously, I'm in the mindset of, you know what? I'm going to see a Toy Story film. Even if they make it to 20, I'm going to see it. I'm going
to be in that seat.
Absolutely. Would I be first in line for a Toy Story 5? For sure. Would I be in line for Toy Story 17 if I'm going to be pushing 50 or 60? For sure. I may bring my grandkids.
Oh, 100%.
And the thing about this movie is, it lacked the family feel for the Toy Story that I'm so used to with the Toy Story
That's
films.
fair. Okay.
But I feel like if I get a little further, I may go...
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's good for first thoughts, but again, we'll go ahead and move on to that topic later.
Yeah.
But first, the first topic that we're going to go ahead and talk about, as we always do, is the cast. We want to go ahead and talk about how they did and everything.
First up is old Buzz Lightyear himself.
Not Tim Allen.
Not Tim Allen.
But Chris Evans.
You mean Captain America?
Captain America.
Okay, so here's the thing. I loved him as Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, he was a really awesome, interesting Buzz Lightyear.
And a lot of people have been giving him flack for replacing Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. Mm-hmm. But I don't see it as him replacing Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. Mm-hmm. I see this as him being a different Buzz Lightyear, as we stated in our first thoughts.
Well, and I feel like for me going into this film, I was coming into it thinking, okay, Chris Evans is the actor that played the character, and Tim Allen is the voice actor that they hired because they couldn't get Chris Evans to do the voice for the toy.
Yes.
So Tim Allen was who filled in those shoes.
Kind of like what Tom Hanks does, because when Tom Hanks is voicing the toy for Woody, it's also similar. Like, well, if we can't get Tom Hanks, let's get his brother. Let's get Jim Hanks.
Yeah, because like it's famous that Jim Hanks actually does all the merchandising toy voices, and Tom Hanks does all the movie voices. So it's really. Because everyone that's owned a toy in the past 20 years knows whenever you get a toy, you're not going to get the same exact voice actor for it. So it sounds just a little off. That's where this is. Yeah. But I do want to specifically praise Chris Evans because whenever he does a line that we all know Buzz Lightyear to say,
he says a lot of them.
But he does a really good job of trying not to imitate Tim Allen, but does a really good job of paying homage to him, tries to match his inflection, tries to match his meaning when it was said, so that it feels still right.
So I noticed that he tried to make his voice seem a little deeper in this film, not to match, because Tim Allen, he's
got a pretty deep voice.
Yeah, he's got a deep voice. Whereas Chris Evans, he has, I don't want to say higher pitched. I feel like he has a lighter tone.
Yeah.
But I feel like he added a nice mix between his normal lighter tone voice with the Tim Allen deeper tone.
Yeah.
And it all came together at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I'm sorry, whether you love Tim Allen or not, Tim Allen is a pretty damn good Buzz Lightyear.
Oh yeah, he's a wonderful Buzz Lightyear.
He's a classic Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, it is very hard to separate his voice from the character.
But I will say this. Sorry, I cut.
No, it's good.
You off,
it's
Zach.
okay.
Tim Allen should be very proud of what Chris Evans has done.
I agree. Because especially just in terms of like, okay, we're not going to hire Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear for this iteration of the character.
Right.
So that being said, it's a tall order for whatever actor steps into that role, into Tim Allen's character.
Into his suit.
So well done by Chris Evans on this role. He smacked it out of the park, in my opinion.
Yeah, he did very, very well. Both him and Tim Allen should be very proud.
Oh yeah.
But okay, this one, Peter Sohn as Socks.
The therapy cat. That's what I'm gonna call him. The therapy cat Socks.
Okay, we've talked about Chris Evans, and obviously we loved him. This character Socks, voiced by Peter Sohn, complete standout.
Steals the movie.
Yes.
And absolutely he was so funny. Steals the movie.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things that we can talk about, but I feel like if we keep talking about it, we're going to get into spoilery section. But he was so funny. And every time like you see Socks, you're just like, oh yeah, there he is. I want to scratch his little belly. And
one-liners galore. He's completely lovable. They match the perfect balance between being like an animal sidekick / animatronic, like buddy, like really well done. And it's interesting because Socks is introduced a little bit later into the film, not like halfway through, like about a quarter of the way through the film.
He's still in the first act.
Yeah, he's still introduced in the first act, and the opening's very interesting, but Socks is like a very welcomed addition when he's like added, because it takes that like serious tone like at the beginning and then adds that really like nice wonderful color that Socks adds. It was such a welcomed it was such a welcomed addition. And I'm not gonna lie, I do look forward to seeing any merchandise from Socks. However, if I was a kid, if I were to receive a Socks toy, I feel like I would be a little bit disappointed by everything that Socks could do in the movie, but he can't do in real life.
Meow, 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 meow.
But that would be funny to have, and I think parents are going to be absolutely driven crazy by whatever their kid just keep on pressing that button and have Socks go meow 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 over and over and over again.
Overall, Socks. I just came up with a great idea. I hope Disney and Pixar come up with this. I need a series of Socks shorts.
Oh yeah, Socks shorts would be so funny.
I mean,
and a shirt too. I need a shirt too.
Not. Oh yes.
You need the socks, the shirt, and the shorts.
What I mean by shorts is Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. Shorts. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. I get that. I feel that.
Oh, that. Okay. 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 Enough of that.
Oh. Okay, so for the next part, we're actually going to take kind of a page from one of our more recent reviews. We're going to talk about a group of actors all together, which we're lovingly calling the Crew, which is a group of 3 characters, which is Keke Palmer, who played Izzy Hawthorne, Taika Waititi, who plays Mo Morrison, and Dale Souls, who plays Darby Steele.
So, as much as I love the idea of Buzz joining a crew,
which is normal, to be honest, in the
TV show,
and whatnot, is he had a crew.
Yeah, but I love Keke Palmer as Izzy Hawthorne. She was great, nice addition. But I feel like Taika Waititi was disappointing.
Yeah,
and Dale Souls as Darby was just
there.
Yeah, I mean they were funny.
They were funny, but all of them had each of them had arcs.
Yeah,
like it's not like they were useless. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong; they actually did have a genuine part to play in the plot. And each of them has their own like individual arc. So I do give props to that. It's just their stories were kind of relegated to the back burner, I feel like, and their plots weren't just as flushed out, and I kind of miss that. I feel like Taika was just a name grab.
Yeah, for sure.
They casted him in a role where they're like, oh my gosh, people are going to be buzzing about Taika, so let's cast him in this role.
I also feel that he was too busy directing Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, you can kind of feel like he didn't give his all in this performance, which is fine, but I feel like the writing actually was there for the character, but Taika maybe wasn't the best fit for the character.
Out of all 3, I'd have to give Keke Palmer as the best out of all 3.
Oh, 100%.
However, out of all 3 of the characters, the funniest would have to be Darby.
100% too. I agree with that.
But the most wholesome character would have to be Izzy Hawthorne.
Correct. I felt a lot closer to Izzy than I did to the other 2.
Okay.
But Darby was also, she had her few comedic moments as well. Mm-hmm. Like she's your explosive expert. Taika is
the dork,
and then Keke is like the heart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So like it's they did a really wonderful job.
But they were there.
They were there. I feel like that they could have done a little bit better and kind of just supported those characters a little bit more.
Yeah.
But there was a lot that they had to get through in this movie, so I feel like they were just an unfortunate casualty of timing and pacing.
Yeah, but let's talk about this next guy.
Yeah. Someone who I wasn't expecting.
I never thought he would do something like this.
I never thought. So this is Josh Brolin's brother, James Brolin.
Oh, no, I thought it's his dad.
Oh, you're right. It is his dad. You're right.
It is his dad.
It's his dad who plays Zurg. Not evil Emperor Zurg, just Zurg. And we'll get into kind of the reason why later why it's just Zurg. But
he was a very nice addition.
He was. I really enjoyed it. And he plays two parts of this character. We'll move on to the second part later, but he plays both Zurg and somebody. And he did actually a really good job with it. I actually really liked the look of Zurg in this.
I did too. That's great.
It didn't like, oh my gosh, this is a new version. No, it looks like Zurg. Like it looks like Zurg.
Yeah, it's Zurg. Had the cape and everything.
It had the cape. No, I don't actually remember a cape.
I remember seeing the cape later.
Oh, you're right. The cape was later. You're right. I barely remember that cape. But like the spirit of the character is there. There's a reveal, which I'm pretty sure everyone who's seen Toy Story 2 figured that there was gonna be a reveal.
But it's not the one that you're expecting.
It's keeping you on your toes.
Oh, for sure.
But I feel like they did
keep you on your toes.
They did a really good job with the character. I feel like there's not really a whole much that we can say, but I feel like he did a good job with it. There's a lot to go on Zurg. Like I feel like, especially coming from a Toy Story kid, like there's a lot of importance you put on Zurg. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they had that importance on there. Mm-hmm. I feel like they met it. They didn't succeed it. They didn't undersell it. They just met it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. James Brolin as Zurg was top notch, very good voice acting for Pixar. Mm-hmm. And when he voicing Zurg, he was terrifying.
Oh, he was. When Zurg himself was on the screen, I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved every single moment Zurg was on screen, and not because there was like comedy or whatnot. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of gave like Darth Vader vibes, and that was kind of like,
I was just thinking that too.
And like that's what the character originally was like somewhat based on. This is seeing Zurg in like Darth Vader ways, and it was really good.
I remember a few kids were a little scared of Zurg.
Oh yeah, I heard a scream at one point.
Yeah.
It was good. Mm-hmm. It was great. That's the Zurg I want to see. And if we could see more of that kind of Zurg, grade A, like USDA choice, like Zurg right there.
All right, so we got Zurg done. We just have one more person.
Yep. So we have Alicia Hawthorne, played by Uzo
Aduba.
Aduba, I think. If we butchered it, we're sorry.
She was nice.
She was great. I feel like, so again, this is more so of a heart character, like, but it's a very unique character because she's both the heart character for both Lightyear and her granddaughter Izzy.
Yes. Izzy is,
so she's got like this very nice like connection that leads to both Buzz and Izzy's kind of growth, which I really, really loved. And I love that there, especially because we do deal with time jumping in this movie. I do love that we have a character that connects the two characters instead of like a place or an event. Right. I like that it's a character.
Yes, absolutely. And she had one of the brighter moments of this
movie.
Oh
yeah, 100%. Which probably the biggest standout moment.
And we'll talk about that later. Okay, so we have the cast done.
Yep.
We just have a few more things and then we'll get to our review. So our first note, if you will, is, would you call it, Zach, the Pixar feel of this movie?
Yeah.
As long as,
like, to me, whenever we go into and come out of a Pixar film, do we feel like we've watched a Pixar film? Whether it's Inside Out, whether it's Toy Story, whether it's
Cars,
because even Cars still has that little bit of Pixar magic.
The first one does.
The first one does. The subsequent sequels are, we don't talk about Bruno, but
especially the second one.
But there's always a sort of like Pixar feel to a lot of Pixar films. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like this was a Disney mandated film.
I agree.
And I feel the best way I can put it is Disney doing a Pixar film. Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like this is. I feel like it's as if Disney Animation took a Pixar property and tried to do it.
Mm-hmm. With some Pixar's help.
And it worked?
Barely.
Ish? And maybe it's just the Disney cast member side of me trying to try to make it work or make it win. But did it work? Did it not? Yes, no, maybe, possibly, yes.
One side note I will say, so Disney's been in this remake stage.
Yeah,
I've
specifically with Pixar.
Huh?
Specifically with Pixar. They've been trying to do sequels and additions. They've tried to build on their IP as opposed to create new IP.
Yeah. So with Disney has also been with their animated properties, they've been doing a lot of remakes.
Oh yeah, like live actions and stuff like that.
So
gotcha.
I feel like they've gone to Pixar and they came up with an idea. Okay, what happens if we take a Toy Story character and we make it not live action, but what would happen if Buzz had a movie?
So I feel like, to be honest, I feel like it's possible that it could have gone that way, but I feel like the conversation probably Disney went, okay, we want another film from Toy Story. Mm-hmm. And they were like,
well, we can give you Lightyear.
Let's, and they were like, no, we want it with the characters. All right. Let's do something different. Let's they're like, we don't want to do Toy Story 5.
Right. Not yet.
Let's do something kind of different. And I feel like Pixar's idea of doing it maybe Disney was do something with Buzz Lightyear. So maybe I feel like the Pixar-y part of it was the creative, let's do the movie that Andy saw. I feel like that's where Pixar kind of picked up the reins, was okay, this is how we're going to go about it.
I also feel that if this movie is success, which
up in the air,
I've been looking at some projections and they're not looking good, which to those of you, we'll talk about it later.
Just go see this movie.
Just please go see
the movie.
Just go see the movie. Because it's a good movie.
It doesn't matter what two straight white guys' opinions on it are. AKA us.
Yeah. Just go see it.
This is just our opinion on this movie. Mm-hmm. You may like it, you may not, you may go, but
just see
it. If Disney or Pixar has ever meant something to you in your life, regardless, go see it. I'm not going to lie. Go see it.
Yes. I also feel Disney is in the idea of, okay, so if Lightyear is a success, I get this feeling that they're going to do something along with Woody's Roundup in the future.
I would love that.
I know.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Could we get a limited series of Woody's Roundup on Disney Plus?
Please.
Could we do that?
But would Tom Hanks come back?
I hope so.
I
don't know if he would, but I would want all the original cast. I want Stinky Pete as Kelsey Grammer. I would want Jesse. I would want
Bullseye.
I would want freaking everybody. It would only have to be one season. It would be a limited series because that's exactly what happens in said movieverse, is that it only happened for one. But oh my God, would that be amazing?
I feel like Disney wants Pixar to do that sometime. And if Lightyear is successful and they are able to make a second or a third, I feel like this is something that could happen.
That would be so cool. Doing it in the black and white TV, serial style. Oh, that would be so great.
A lot of people I know Chris Evans says he wants it. He wants it bad.
I would love that.
I would too.
Buzz would have nothing to do with it because it's strictly a Western. Mm-hmm. But oh my God, would that be amazing.
Right, speaking of, because Zach's about to jump out of the ceiling.
Yeah, you got me a little excited there.
So a lot of people are questioning is, obviously this is a different version of Buzz. But me and Zach walked out of the theater and we both are like, okay, so do we see the Tim Allen Buzz Lightyear toy being made from this movie? I have to say no.
I agree.
And the reason why I say that is because when I came out of that movie and I was driving over here to Zach's place to do this recording, I thought of like, I could see another toy.
Yeah.
From, like, I could see an action figure.
Yeah.
I could see a whole video game being made.
Mm-hmm.
I could see a different plush. I could see a different jacket.
AKA, you could see a toy coming out of this movie.
Absolutely.
Just not the Buzz Lightyear we got from Toy Story.
Yes. And that's why I say, in my opinion, what possibly could happen is they're going to make another movie for sure. Mm-hmm. I do see that happening.
Okay.
If it doesn't, it's because this movie tanked.
Yeah.
And didn't get a lot of viewership on Disney Plus.
Yep.
If they make a second and a third, after one of those movies, somebody is going to go up to Buzz and be like, "Hey, we want to make a toy based off of you."
Well, I don't think they'll do it in movie.
I would love to see that, though.
I don't think... Well, they might do it as, like, a gag. Like, that would be funny. But, like, as, like... But in terms of, like, is this the guy?
No.
And here's the thing. This entire movie, as weird as his marketing was, the making of this movie, and we even say it at the beginning of the movie, it says in 1995, Andy got a toy from his favorite movie.
This is that
movie. Coming out of it, does Buzz Lightyear the toy come out of this movie? I can't say yes.
I can't say it either.
Now, is that coming from a person who grew up with a different version of Buzz Lightyear, like this being Andy's series or this being Andy's movie, come from? Yes, I grew up with the Buzz Lightyear series, and that's what I always felt like Andy grew up with.
I did too.
But at the same time, like I said, if it grows into that, sure. But if we're going off of the marketing, is this the movie?
No. Now, we've mentioned Toy Story a lot.
Yeah.
There were a lot of references.
There were. And not only, like... So, like, they taught, like, I feel like coming into this Toy Story movie, you're going to want to feel a bit, not Toy Story, this Lightyear movie, you're going to want to feel a little bit of that Toy Story magic.
Especially the first one. It was almost a shot for shot at the beginning when you see Buzz looking, like, through his dome. Mm-hmm. And he starts...
I wouldn't say a shot for shot.
It was
but
close.
Like,
it was close.
I wouldn't even say close, but I would say, like, they tried to, like...
Emulate it
a little bit, mm-hmm. Maybe, mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say that. They you know, try to... Well, I won't go into spoilers, yeah. But they do a little bit, but, like, where the references, I feel like, come in really heavily are his one-liners.
Oh, for sure.
And they pull a lot of one-liners out. And actually, they pull out one of Woody's one-liners at the end, which mm-hmm. I was actually really shocked about, but I loved.
Well, can we mention that in the spoilers?
But I probably won't. This is probably as far as I'm going with it. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, the lines and the references, they're here. You're gonna love them. You're gonna enjoy them. Every single time funny. One did, a smile came across my face. So it was nice to have that.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
No, I'm not mocking you. I'm not mocking you. I'm not.
Oh no! Buzz, look at alien. Ah! Where? Ah! That's not in there.
No, that's not in there. I would have cackled though, if that would have. Oh.
Especially like if it was Alicia.
Oh yeah,
like, when she catches him narrating.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Buzz, look at alien. Where?"
It's like they do a really good job.
Oh,
I swear. Okay. In terms of references and pulling stuff from Toy Story, it's great.
So you mentioned the opening, not entirely crawl, so we don't really need to go.
Yeah,
into that.
We don't need to go into it. So
it's time for the score. Michael Giacchino.
Yeah,
he was fine.
I love Michael Giacchino.
I do too.
I love him. I really, really do. There are moments in here. There are certain motifs that do somewhat stick out, mm-hmm. but this wasn't his best.
He was fine.
He was serviceable.
Yes.
However, coming out of a 1995 brand movie, as they were trying to brand it, I feel like I can call out a whole bunch of like themes from those that I can like hum or put out. I barely remember any themes from this.
I can't either.
The biggest thing that I can come out from this is actually, somewhere waiting in the stars, like that.
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
Like, that's David Bowie.
Yeah.
So like it has
was
nothing
just
to do
there.
with that, but it
was kind of a disappointing score.
I wouldn't say disappointing, but it was
disappointing.
just serviceable.
Yeah.
is my best way to describe it.
All right, we got that done. There are post-credit scenes.
Yes. So we're going to go ahead. We won't go into what the post-credit scenes are, but we will say that there's a post-credit scene after the animated credits. There's a post-credit scene after the black and white credits, and then there's an additional scene.
Yeah.
The additional scene is what it is. But that one's the biggest one of like, will it move on? Will this be a one-shot movie, or will this move on? Like, if you're looking for that kind of answer, that's in the third scene.
If you have nothing better to do,
the jokey scenes are 1 and 2.
Oh, for sure. If you have nothing better to do, then I recommend staying for the third scene. But if you really need to pee,
you can miss it and then
find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So is it review time?
It is review time. All right. So, Mitch, do you want to go ahead and run down what our review selection is and how it all breaks down?
So we have 3 categories. We have Feed It to the Dog Jazz, who I think he's hungry.
Yeah, he's a little hungry.
And that's basically, if you ask us, or one of us, we would say this movie's not very good, but we still like...
It's still...
Form your own opinion.
Still worth you to go to form your own opinion.
Yes. There's a category worse, but we're not mentioning that.
No.
We also say we have a category of it needs to cook, meaning it's not bad, but it's not good. It's kind of meh.
Yeah, like it could have used like maybe an extra writer or a
little bit of sauce,
or a little sauce, like a character change, or like there's a good movie in there. It just needs to cook a little more and needs some more ingredients.
And we also have we ate it up, meaning we enjoyed it. We recommend you seeing it, and there were a few things that could have been fixed, but we still overall
it was
say
still
it was
good.
Movie. Yeah.
Like it's still a good movie.
Absolutely.
So, Mitch, since this was your number 2, what is your verdict on Lightyear?
Well, my verdict is thus. Could the movie been better? Yes. Is this on par with the Toy Story franchise? No, not even close. But it's not a Cars 2. It's not a Cars 3.
Nope.
It's better than Onward. I would rate it in the higher middle pack of the Pixar films. I can't really say what other films it would be in cahoots with.
Sure.
But I gotta give this an eat up. I ate it up.
You're eating it up.
Yeah, I'm eating it up.
And so am I. I'm
You
also
are?
eating this
well,
up.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's not Pixar's best, but it's definitely not their worst. Again, I feel like this was a Disney telling their company to put out another one of their popular franchises, but they did well and did a different take on the Toy Story franchise, which I enjoy, and I hope, like I said, if they do a Woody's Roundup, I will buy 2 subscriptions to Disney Plus.
Woody's Roundup. Time to play.
I will go down on that. You can make that. Oh my God. Do it. What? Disney, do it. As much as I hate that you keep on relegating Pixar to a whole bunch of Disney Plus stuff, which again, if you take this failure as Pixar's no good if they're in theaters, no Disney, bad Disney, bad Disney, no.
Please don't do that. We want
do
more.
not relegate Pixar to a Disney Plus exclusive.
You'll
put them in theaters, but please do a Woody's Roundup on Disney Plus as a supplemental to whatever new IP that they're going to push out in the next couple of years.
Okay, so we got our thoughts out.
Yes.
We talked about the cast.
Yep.
We got our review out.
Yep.
Alarm time.
Yee! Wah, wah! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert, dang it, because we are heading into these spoilers at light speed or light year.
And prepare to die.
To infinity. I know, I totally squashed your reference. I'm sorry.
No. Wait, Zach. To infinity?
And we'll move on to our spoilers. So we'll go ahead and go into our spoiler section. I'm really excited to kind of go into some of these spoilers because was kind of a hoot and a half, especially with our first one. My first one is by far the biggest standout of the entire movie, which is when Buzz is trying to get this fuel source to work.
Yes, so
he's testing out a whole bunch of them.
So what happens is they are marooned on a planet because their ship crashed while they were trying to escape.
Yes.
And because the planet's very dangerous. And Buzz blames himself because he got selfish.
He got cocky.
He did.
Yeah.
And so he decides to, it's his fault. He has to be the one to bring them home.
Yep.
So he has to find a way to provide fuel for Lightspeed.
Yep.
Because their Lightspeed source is gone.
Yep.
So what he needs to do, he does a bunch of test piloting to orbit around that planet's sun and get back.
Yep.
However, every time he does these test runs, he's gone for 4 minutes. But the planet that he goes back to, they go forward 4 long years.
On average. Sometimes they do get even wider of a gap. But
And there's a really wonderful montage because his friend Alicia, who's his commanding officer, basically tells him let's forget the mission. We're living here. We're going to make the best of it.
Yep.
But Buzz is determined. He wants to find a way for everyone to get home because he keeps blaming himself.
Yep.
And again, keeps going. 4 years. He comes back and Alicia is engaged.
Yep.
Comes back. She's married.
And pregnant. She comes back and they're celebrating 40 years together.
And can we talk about what else?
Oh, yeah. So when they're celebrating when Alicia is celebrating her 40th anniversary with her wife, they do share a kiss. Pixar and Disney treated it like normal, as they should. It's a kiss. It's not even like a makeout session.
No.
It's a kiss.
Yes. And are you really so selfish that you're going to get rid of a child's chance to see one of the greatest action heroes in animation history? Are you really going to do that? Are you really going to be that selfish?
Yeah.
If you are ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to steal a child's reason to see Buzz Lightyear because you don't like that they added a same-sex kiss. And this is the reason why I think Buzz Lightyear has been struggling this weekend, is because you have a lot of people that don't want to see this.
Yeah.
They don't want to see the same-sex kiss.
Fine. Close your eyes.
Yeah, close your eyes.
It's very obvious when it's about to happen.
Yes.
So close your eyes.
But again, just like you said, Zach,
it's not porn.
it's not porn. And in my opinion, if you're okay with seeing a guy and a girl go at it in a PG or PG-13 movie, what's wrong with this?
There's nothing wrong with this.
And this is PG. It's 1 second.
It is literally a kiss on the lips that peck and go. It's not a makeout session.
No. And you literally, in the PG-13 Spider-Man,
Yep.
Tobey Maguire,
Iconic scene.
You literally see Kirsten Dunst's tits. Some of them.
Yeah.
At times.
Well, and also, if we're just going off of kisses, there's an iconic scene in Spider-Man where he's hanging upside down. She pulls down the mask,
rain, yeah.
and you are watching that kiss for at least 3, 4, 5 seconds.
Yes, almost a whole entire 30 seconds, maybe.
And it just goes on. This is not that kind of kiss.
So, and that's why, if you're okay with that and you're not okay with this, then I don't know I don't get you. I don't get you. If you're okay with that, but not okay with this, I don't get you.
I really don't.
I don't. But, if you don't agree with our views, fine. We just hope that you listen to our podcast. But again, like Zach said, please, 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 just move forward and treat this like normal, because it is normal. Mm-hmm. This is normal now, whether you like it or not.
It was always normal and should have been treated as normal, but now we are realizing it and accepting it as normal. Mm-hmm. So I understand that you don't want to see it, but then close your eyes for a hot second.
Yeah, or if you see it coming, go to the bathroom. Get your popcorn refueled.
All right,
so
we'll move on.
Because me and Zach are frustrated.
We were frustrated about it, especially after I saw that scene. I had to swallow. I swallowed a big lump for wow. But we'll move on. Yeah,
let's move on.
Because there is one thing that I do want to kind of build on, which is the Space Ranger suit.
Oh, yeah.
They do a really interesting thing with the Space Ranger suit. Because when you think of the Space Ranger suit, you think of the wings.
The red button.
You think of the red button that will deploy the wings. You think of the laser.
And this laser is not a light bulb that blinks.
And no, it's not. Absolutely not. But they do such an interesting thing with the suit. They have it start as a flight suit. Mm-hmm. Then they have it move on to become a...
kind of like an astronaut suit.
Kind of like to an astronaut suit. Then they go back to the Space Ranger suit of having it be a suit. And then they add on...
A laser.
As in, the laser's separate from the suit, but they strap it on. And then they add on a jetpack. So, they continually build the suit. So I thought that was a really nice, fresh sense to the suit of having the look. Having the big red button be actually something different. Of having it be they call it the surrender button.
Yeah.
But it's really just, in case you're falling.
Yeah.
And you need cushion. That's what that is. It's a big ball.
The sad thing is it didn't have the karate chop action from the first movie. That back
But when he put on the suit, he was doing karate.
Did do that,
He was being a kid.
So it also had can I do it?
Yep, do ahead.
Buzz Lightyear mission log.
Yeah.
Yep, I had to do it. Thank you. Thank you.
It's
there.
I'm happy it's there. And they do it twice, actually. They do the monologue on the back of of Buzz's box.
Yeah.
They do it at the beginning and they do it at the end. And it's kind of almost like Star Trek, a Stardate. This is the mission log of the Starship Enterprise. It kind of reads as that, but that was kind of the point of that. Mm-hmm. So, I loved it. I love that they added that to it.
But then finally, at the end of the movie, you finally see the complete suit with the jetpack and the wings. And it doesn't have the surrender button. It finally has the red button that you press.
Activates the wings.
Activates the wings. And they're not plastic.
They aren't plastic, no.
And they have the laser, and it's not a little light bulb that blinks. Mm-hmm. And they keep the Buzz Lightyear mission log. Yep. And I wanted, because they have the helmet, of course.
Yeah.
I wanted them, at the beginning of the movie... when Buzz was dealing with his rookie,
sure,
I wanted him to accidentally the helmet goes off and him be like, oh,
yeah,
and the choke. And him to be like, how dare you open a Space Ranger's helmet on an uncharted planet? Yeah. My eyeballs could have been sucked from their socket. I wanted that so bad, and they didn't get it. But yes, the whole suit building aspect of this movie. Top notch.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
Because I didn't expect it. I thought
I didn't either.
I thought he was just gonna have the full suit right away. So to have it built on and for it to get the final product, I thought that was really cool. All right, so another really big, I guess, spoiler alert. There's a reveal about Zurg. Again, we mentioned it. It kind of you were expecting there to be one. The film was building it so that there was going to be a reveal, and there is. It's in the moment, I was actually a little bit surprised about it. Did I think it was going to be his dad? No.
I didn't know what it was going to be.
But actually, when it was building up, I actually thought it was going to be a specific character that was introduced, Commander Burnside, who is played by Isaiah Whitlock Jr. I thought that was going to be his character, and that was going to be the great reveal of, oh my god, the commander that took over is the one that's attacking the city. I thought that was going to be the big twist, and what a cool twist that would have been.
Nice.
But Actually, I'm actually not too mad about this twist either.
It's future Buzz.
Future Buzz.
There was a bit where he walked out and Buzz is like, Dad?
which all of us, I think, when we saw it, we were like,
that's Buzz's dad.
Is it? Like, we were like...
I was like, is that Buzz's dad?
I was like, it looks a lot like him, so sure, it could be his dad.
Maybe his grandpa.
But yeah, it is Buzz himself that is actually Zurg. But it's a really good foil, I feel like, so that Buzz can see exactly where his thinking has gone wrong.
Well,
because
if you really think about it, the whole idea of this film was Buzz was fighting himself. He was fighting his ego. He was fighting his arrogance.
But also, he was digging himself in a mission.
Yeah.
That the mission has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring it up multiple times, and he's like, I gotta finish the mission. And you kind of were putting it beautifully, and I was going to kind of like interject a little bit, but then I pulled myself back. You know, the entire point of the mission is to go home.
Right.
But in that time of him continually jumping and whatnot, and as time has passed, the people there have found their home.
Yeah, they made their home.
They made a home. So, while yes, unfortunately, Buzz
can't
go home anymore, he has to find a new home in the home that has been found. Mm-hmm. So
with the meat sandwich,
with
meat, bread, meat.
I'm sorry, like I get
that
like
doesn't work.
That's so weird. Like me as like I'm a really big meat and potatoes person. I love my meat.
Burgers and
that would. No.
Well, let's
I like my chip, or I like my bread. I need a vehicle to get said meat into me.
Well, let's just think about it this way: if you and I ate at Arby's and that was the way it was, where it was meat, bread, and meat, no. I don't know if I definitely wouldn't have been able to eat a Big Mac like that.
I really couldn't even be able to probably touch a sink, because like I would be like I would be scared of all this,
especially if you have
stuff that's on my fingers.
Especially if you have like extra ketchup or mustard
or like
or
extra au jus on it, like no,
A1 sauce.
No.
Yeah,
I get it, but no. But yeah, back to what did you think about this whole Buzz Lightyear reveal?
So again, it felt like I didn't really realize it until on the drive here. This whole movie was about you're fighting your inner self, almost. Buzz literally was fighting his inner self.
Yeah.
Because your own worst enemy, you, like Zach, you are your own worst enemy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I am my own worst enemy. And that literally was the theme of this movie. Buzz's worst enemy is not Zurg, not Evil Emperor Zurg. It's not Sheriff Woody.
No.
It's Buzz Lightyear himself.
Yeah. And really that's what it was. That is his arc in the Toy Story films.
Yeah.
Him fighting his beliefs and what he believes is true.
That he was in the entire Toy Story films, he literally fought himself.
Yep.
He thought he was a space ranger, found out he was a toy. Years of the academy training wasted.
I am Mrs. Nesbit.
And again, he had, and along with Toy Story, along with this, he had friends. He had a group that taught him that lesson that you can't fight battles just on your own. You can't fight, because there was a few times where you thought Buzz had depression.
Yeah.
A few bits.
Mm-hmm. And Socks is literally a therapy cat.
Yes.
Like, that is literally what Socks is meant to be. That's what Hawthorne got Socks for Buzz. Was so that he would have a friend throughout the entire time.
Yeah. And like Woody helping Buzz with his crisis of, I'm not a toy. He's not a space ranger. He's actually a toy. And the meaning of a toy's life is to be loved by a kid.
Yep.
This one is your own worst. The themes go as thus, in my opinion. Your own worst enemy is yourself. And the only way you can combat that is you have to have friends who are there for you that can help you fight your own inner demons.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to beat Zurg / older Buzz by himself. No way.
Well, and even that version of Buzz / Zurg, he's like, you're not the Buzz that I know. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning, he's like, I'm excited about that. But as they talk and as they fight, he learns to regret that. He's like, you're not the Buzz that you're supposed to be. No, it's, I'm the Buzz that has learned, I'm the Buzz that has changed, and I'm the Buzz that has progressed and moved on.
He's the Buzz that needed to be.
Correct.
Not supposed to be. He is the Buzz that needed to be.
Are you making a Thor reference right there?
Well, it's coming out in 2 weeks.
I guess so. But
you are not the other gods I've killed. Sorry.
But no, you're good. But this is but it really was a very different story than we were expecting, but a very welcomed one. Mm-hmm. Had some flaws. You mentioned there were some pacing issues that I also kind of want to hit on. I feel like whenever, it's kind of almost ironic, whenever this movie is getting going with its action and everything, I feel like it's hitting it beat for beat, going well, doing great. But all the slower moments is where it hits and goes wrong, I feel. And that's the thing that I almost feel like I'm kind of almost sad about, because it's all the moments when it's with the crew.
Yeah.
And they're trying to character build, and just none of the moments are hitting. It's only not Alicia, Izzy, that kind of like brings you out of those moments, which is why I feel like Izzy works the most out of the three.
For sure.
Because she's the one that drags everyone out of the moments. Not even Buzz, it's always her, which I love. And I feel like if maybe like Mo or Darby would have like pulled us out of like some of those moments, I feel like we would have enjoyed those characters a little bit more. But because it's always Izzy, I feel like is the reason why her character pulls forward more than those other two.
And sometimes Socks too. Socks.
Oh yeah, Socks pulls you out one or two moments. I feel like when it's just like Buzz and Socks, that's what pulls you out of the slower moments. And because we've related and we understand of the cat mannerisms that are going on, and we relate to that, I feel like that's why Socks elevates more, where just the other ones are just kind of quirky. But yeah, I feel like that's where some of the pacing kind of hits wrong, is when it does come down to the crew and Buzz. It just, the pacing just kind of stops for a bit. But yeah.
So we got one more thing.
And that is the post-credits scene.
Nothing much happens.
Nothing much happens. The first one I thought was meh.
Yeah, it was stupid.
I wasn't a fan of that one. Because the joke that they call back to is like the shield.
It's so stupid.
But I was like, okay.
The second one was funny.
Second one was funny because that was a bit that they kind of were continually playing off of, and then it just went away.
And
so the fact that it like came back was really great. And then the third one was, I guess,
we all saw that coming.
If you were going to do a sequel, that would be what it would be, is Zurg waking up.
Yeah, his lights like ching. He does say prepare to die too.
Yeah, so like it's there.
But
it's there. And I hope that they do a sequel or a trilogy, because I do want to see more of these characters. And I feel like if there's one thing that they can learn from this movie is to invest a little bit more in the crew, so that we can learn to love them a bit more. But I would love to see, Space Rangers going on an adventure to beat Zurg for a second time. I actually hope Zurg actually wins in the second one, if they do, and then have them try to redeem themselves in the third.
That would be really neat.
But
kind of like a la Empire Strikes Back.
Kinda. Yeah. But yeah, no. Overall, good movie.
Yes.
Borderline great movie. But it's got a couple of things and kinks it needs to work out. And if this will truly indeed be a trilogy or go to a series or something, I feel like those are things that they can work on going forward.
It's got to make money first, so please go see it.
Please go see it. Please form your own opinion on it.
Absolutely. Let us know.
And that's the thing. Like, I know we went on that really big rant in the middle of our podcast,
but we had to say it.
But the thing is that it's what especially irks me on things like that is people just not seeing it first.
Yeah.
Just hearing the fact that there's going to be a same-sex kiss and go, oh, I'm not going to see that. No.
Just see it.
See it first and then form your opinion. You know, it is what it is.
Yes.
But, you know, we are just excited to be two people that get to watch all these movies. Mm-hmm. And we got a couple more coming out. Yep. We mentioned Thor, which is, we're going to be seeing that pretty soon. That's the next one on our direct radar, but we might see something next week. We probably will.
Something
maybe
called
Bob's Burgers?
Elvis?
Or Elvis. That sounds like a good idea.
Well, there's that Black Phone movie, too.
Black Phone also might be interesting.
I don't know. I've always loved Elvis.
Yeah, but you know, we'll keep you posted and we'll see. But until that time when we decide, I'm Zach,
and to infinity and beyond, I'm Mitch,
and we are an excellent little podcast.